Welcome back to Pensplaining with Corinne. It's been a while, right? I have been busy with work projects, and like many of you, I now have some time to work on the things that have been neglected for a while. So the video I wanted to do for today is just showing folks who maybe are unfamiliar how I eyedropper a pen. I've done it several times now. I find it to be very easy and pretty fun, actually, because you've just expanded the capacity, the ink capacity of your pen. A lot of Franklin Christoph pens lend themselves to this, like the 45 I've got last year, the Pocket 66 that I have, and this Woodshed Pen Company pen. So I've eyedroppered all three of those successfully, and just highly recommend doing it if you've got a pen that it will work with. I'm going to eyedropper this Nemosine Singularity with a 0.8 stub nib on it. When I first looked at this pen, I thought, can I eyedropper this? But I checked to make sure that there's no holes in the barrel at the end. It almost looks like there's one, but there isn't. So this has been cleaned out thoroughly, and if I want to convert it back to using a cartridge or a converter, I can do that. So easy enough. So the tools I've got with me right now are a syringe, some Q-tips, and some silicone grease. Now I have some silicone grease I bought from Pendemonium. You can find them online, and they are at pendemonium.com. Great folks. They go to a lot of pen shows as well. And this little thing of silicone grease was probably about maybe $2 or $3, I think. I got it at the DC show last year. If you don't have that, let's say you've got a TWSBI Eco that you bought at one point, they will always come with these little bottles of silicone grease. You can use one of these as well if you've already got it. I have done that successfully as well too. But today I'm going to use this, and I am going to eyedropper this Nemosine with Pen Addict Fire on Fire. Today is the first day of spring when I'm recording this, and I think we have effectively killed winter with orange, but we have a few other things we should probably extinguish as well. So why not a little fire on fire, right? So the first step is I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this here. I'm going to remove the nib section from the pen, set this aside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit, you don't need a whole lot, less is more. You just need enough to grease the threads, because you don't want this to get unscrewed accidentally when you go to uncap the pen. And what I'm doing is I'm putting silicone grease on the threads where the nib section meets the barrel. You want to make sure that you don't get any grease on the nib itself. And you might be able to hear in the background my cat eating her food, because heaven forbid I do any sort of video in peace. Okay, I'll just put a little bit more on here. And that looks pretty good. All right, so now I've greased that up, and I want to make sure I put this aside since I've used it. Don't want to contaminate anything. I'm just going to set that down for a second and open up my syringe. Now you can buy syringes from a lot of different online retailers and some brick and mortar shops. They'll typically have a tip to them. I'm not using those because I had a stash of old sterile syringes after my mother passed away. I found a box and I'm like, I can use these for pens. So I'm gonna go in the bottle and pull up a nice amount of ink. And I know I can get more in there. There's actually a huge air bubble in here, so let's just try that again, shall we? Sometimes when you're filling a syringe, if you haven't done it before, it can take a try or two to get just the right amount of ink and no air. And here's my helper. Okay, not now, kidding. I want to edit that out because that keeps it interesting, right? It's like that guy who was doing the CNN interview and his kid waltzed into the room. Yeah, like that. So I'm gonna put the tip of the syringe in the barrel and I'm going to put the ink in. Now this makes it really, using a demonstrator style pen makes it really easy to see what you're doing, obviously, so that you know where your ink level is. And it's just fun when it's a pretty color. Now for my purposes here, I'm gonna fill this up just all the way. Now you see the threads at the very end of the barrel where it's gonna meet the nib section. I do not want my ink level to get past those threads because that's where the silicone grease is, right? On the nib section. So I want to not have that interfere. I will wipe off that the ink that got on the threads a little bit once I'm done filling. And yeah, I probably could have done fewer fills, but okay, I'm just gonna leave it at this level right here. I'm gonna clean that off just a little bit. Did I need to clean that off? I don't know that it really matters either way, but now I'm ensuring that there's a clean surface there. So now I've got my nib section that's got the silicone grease on it. I've got my barrel here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna screw this in. And I'm gonna screw it tightly. You know, not super tight, you know, don't pull out those Incredible Hulk type of moves. And there you go, it's filled. That's all filled up. And I'm not seeing any leaks or anything. So, successful. And that's how you eyedropper your pen. Thanks for watching. And next up, I will have some quick ink reviews.